So the two levels of tainug. There's the tainug of the actual completion, as it were, of the construction of the dira, but that is fueled with the pinimis dika tainug, which is to dwell there, lupeil. And he describes it, interestingly, is the beginning of the ois. The words he used to describe the tainug pnimi in the moshel, and the same thing applies, of course, in the nimshal. Kitiferes Adam lasheves ba'is. It's the glory of man. The glory of man is in his dwelling in his home. So that emphasizes that the purpose is to live there and express oneself. And then he added, "Ulisader by kelim noyim." If you look back at the number 30 in the text, and to arrange in it beautiful utensils. So l'chora, he's being merames here on the Indian. He's hinting to the fact that before Bias and Mashiach, there's this emphasis on Hidur Mitzvah that the Baal Shem Tov and Chassidus introduced that did not exist for thousands of years. And why is that? Because at the end, the dira, the final touches and the nuance and the decoration, so that is really where the Atzmis Diketainug is expressed, because all of these details are expressive uniquely, dafka, because they're not functional. And they're decorative, as it were, they're expressive of the people there, of the soulmates. So hence, it's one of the reasons why Chassidus emphasizes Hidur in the mitzvahs, and it wasn't Negiah before, because before we were building, the dira, the main thing is the main pu'ulis. When you're digging the foundation, the walls, and the plumbing, etc., it's not nuanced. It's peil mamish and very hard and fast, as it were. You're yoitze, you're not yoitze. There's no interest or need to look at the color of the plumbing, the brass pipes. It looks this way or that way, or this nick or that shape. It's a lo nagia klal. You're yoitze, you're not yoitze. That was the whole interest, the whole kavanah. You got to put the foundation down. It's just got to conform with the basic requirements, and nothing more is necessary. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time and energy to put in the foundation, the walls, etc. Nuanced material. It's got to be basic and sturdy and strong. So that's why for thousands of years, the emphasis was the basic pearl mamish, and the consideration was you're yoitze the mitzvah, you're not yoitze the mitzvah. Along came the Baal Shem Tov and said it's not the issue anymore. We're going beyond that. Of course you have to be yoitze. Now it's a question of hidur. Now it's a question of the kelim noim, he says, the tiferes, the beauty, the nuance, and hence a whole new dimension now emerges. So that's the tainuk pnimi, or the atzmis dika tainuk, that drives the external tainuk, which one has when the building is complete. As we said yesterday, so the first level of tainuk perhaps could be described as you're outside the house, it's done, you look at it, and well, thank God it's done, and a lot of pleasure, a job well done. And then you go inside and live there, it's a whole different level, and that's really what fuels it all, but there are these stages. So as he translates, did we finish? No, we didn't. So let's pick up the text then, by the number. Vadugman is a Yuvan Lamaila, so it's, I think you have the same layout as I do. It's 5 lines in the top of Kuf Tzadik Zayin. Yeah? Vadugman is a Yuvan Lamaila, Shesibas Ha'inig Bisavas Ha'ilam. What's behind the Ha'inig for creation? According to Medrash again, Shenishtoike, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Baruch said that they wish to desire to create it. Shoike V'amodei Sheish. What is behind that? Or Ha'inig HaPnimi Shebekavana Pnimius Shebisavas Ha'ilam. This is the Ha'inig Pnimi, which expresses the inner intent in creation, which is L'Yis Baruch Dira B'Tachtonim. And how is that achieved? That's through the Yid living, doing. Yid Yavidis Ha'odem B'Kima Torah Mitzvahs. Through Torah Mitzvahs Nachas Ruach Lefanai Shamanti V'Naser Tzoyni. As Chazal say in the words Reach Nechech L'Hashem. It's the Nachas that I said, and it was done, meaning you allowed me into your life. So through mitzvahs we elevate the world. This lapsha mitzvahs in which the mitzvahs are invested. We're up to here. That the Dovar Gashmi should reveal godliness. For calls and nikva, invest in all of this. So all of the processes that go into the finished product. For calls and nikva, they alpir achachma or midas the Torah. So that's the whole chachma dimension of Torah, the whole midas dimension of Torah. The middle dimension of Torah is, amongst other things, it's Pirkei the Musar, the proper conduct. But it means more than that too. It means midas within the halacha, Shammai, Hillel, Chesed, Gvura. Be'eza oifen tiyah mitzvah, how the mitzvah should be done, shal yoda yiyah through which the birur should be. I just mentioned Hillel and Shammai because that's all part of the process, as explained in Chassidus, why the halacha is presently like Hillel and the Lasid Lova Mashiach comes like Shammai, because now Hillel is thinking of what? Of Chesed, Amshach Mata. So the Ikir is Perel Mamish. Chesed treats everybody equally, and at what level are we all equals? Perel Mamish, we can all do. That's Avodas Habeinanim. Since therefore the halacha is like Hillel, it's Managolas. Because in making the dira, the emphasis of the Perel Mamish, these are again the main components, the foundation, the building of the dira. When Mashiach comes, the Ikar Avodah is not the Perel Mamish, but Ladas es Hashem, Avodah Pnimius, Avodah of Ave and Yira. So that's the Avodah of Shammai. That's Melamata Lamaila. That's where we're all different, it's not the same. Every different levels of Yediyah and Havana Vasoga and Ave V'Yira. It's very exacting and very demanding and very nuanced. That's in Shammai, Gevura, Hasom, Erchoisov. Shammai comes from the word Hasom, which means to place one steps, very carefully measured. So the Avodah Lasid Lova is very measured and very nuanced. And there's a Chon for that is Chassidus. Chassidus is the bridge to the Avodah of Shammai, the Avodah of Ladas Hashem, the Avodah of Av and Yid, the Avodah Pnimius. Watch the story of Shammai and Hillel. Shammai is Hillel, the Ger wants to know the whole Torah on one foot. We'll bring it down to his level. And Shammai is banished. He throws him out of the building. What kind of nonsense is this? Because he's looking, the Pnimius, where is this coming from? Completely unmavur, and he's not relating to him. So the answer is Lasid Love. After the Avodah of Hillel comes the Avodah of Shammai. That's what he's saying over here. That's the midas within Torah Gufa, the midas in halacha. As he goes on to say here, as he just said, all which are mevaded the Gashmis and make it a kedel of the kus in these various stages of, as we're just saying now, of Hillel and then Shammai. So all of this is all driven by the Einig, the delight that Eibishter wants, that he and every Yid is revealed and one in all of this and all of creation. Now in Avodah. So we have to serve God likewise, namely the same way He serves us or creates creation. Us. So the first thing, of course, is Maisa B'Poel, Mitzat Kabbalah Selavidas Habeinanim, like as we're talking in our context, Allah could be Silil. But then it's not enough. It can't just be the action alone, just like the making the Dira, they wish invested divine wisdom and midas. So too in our mitzvahs. So what is that? He's born in us. He has to have an appreciation and understanding and be misboinen, the ava, the yira, and have a love and awe. And that's not enough either. It's got to invoke, he's got to be invested deeper. He has to invest his desire and his tainug and his yiddishkeit and his avodah in his life. Yeah? We're clear. So then, when he does the avodah in the 6 days of the week, as it should be, as we just described now, He does it faithfully and he gets the job done as a nas b'yem Shabbos shleimus ha'tainug. So till now, during Sheishis Achayil, the tainug is there, but it's undercurrent, it's driving it all. But the shleimus is on Shabbos in the two stages. The karas Shabbos only you should call Shabbos a day of delight. Karas also implies to reveal. When you call someone, you call their attention to you. But Yikra, they wish to call to Moishe. So karas Shabbos only means you shall summon on Shabbos only and be megala the tainug. And that is now the two levels. Not only do we experience this is Friday night, the time that comes as a result of the cessation of work, the job is done, and this taps into the chitzonius tainug, or the conscious tainug, that is present in a way of tzimtzum throughout the whole avodah. As we said, if a person loses desire for a project, it's over, he just aborts it on the spot. So it's ever present, but it's betzimtzum, and now when it's done, it can be revealed. But not only that, not just the home is complete and the job completed, but now the tainuk pnimi, which is least it's actually dwelling there and sharing oneself in the deepest way with one's soulmates. When will he experience Shabbos as it should be? When the avodah till then is kidduboy. He does the job. They can have the time that the job is done. So who every Shabbos can look back at the week and say, job well done. That's the tzaddik. What about the rest of us? There can be setbacks. So it's very bekitzer here, but it's what he says. Even if there are different levels of intent, chota is unintentional, or pogam is already, it's the same chet, but if it happens over and over again, there's already an element of intent, and then that's a blemish, therefore, as he says in the Geras HaTshuva from the Zohar, that the first time, but the blemish only happens after 3 times. That's when the blemish, the stain penetrates the garment, metaphorically. And then for Ovar, it's mamish b'mezid, it's transgression. So what happens if a person is guilty of this? Could that happen? This could happen. So so just, hey, there's 2 lines into this oyus, and there's no reason to get derailed. There's tshuva. And that's a consolation prize? No. He did setback, and his tshuva, that's also part of the kavanah, because he gets even higher. And the time of therefore the end is even deeper. Even the tzaddikim cannot stand. All right? So every year, therefore, and Shabbos itself is the end of tshuva. Shabbos is Toshuv. So every year, therefore, comes Shabbos, Friday night, with the ups and downs and the vicissitudes of life. You're in the game, you're trying. You are obligated to have a tainug in the avodah of the week, in the job. Well done. Could be done better, so next week we'll do better. Now he's going to answer one of the shilas that he asked in the beginning of the Maimer. Right? So the brachas are given that you will listen, like certainty. Should have said, Lashon Vadai, it's written with certainty, Lashon Tanai, not conditional, im tishmo, as in, or, if you walk in my statutes, or another pasuk in Bekele Tishmo, if you'll hearken to my voice, or his voice rather. Ki, very interesting answer. I don't know if this says this anywhere. For sure, I don't know, but that's far from any proof, but I don't see any in 36. No, I don't see. We're being pointed out of my modem where this answer is given. I'll call upon him, so let's hear the answer. So what's the certainty? So when the pasuk says, if you go in my statutes, and then the promise of all the bracha that follows. So what's the pasuk talking about? This is what's happening now, friends, is direct hemshech from the last lines we just said about Shuvah. We're going to see the flow. not incidental, the last few lines. But if you're not a tzaddik, go see you do tshuva. No, this is the whole kavanah. We'll see how it goes. So b'chakoyse telicha goes on mitzvahs. Now, mitzvahs. V'kiv m'shesh b'zeh sofek im yakim k'deboy. There's a person has free choice. Will he do the mitzvahs properly at the outset? Or he won't. He'll have to fix it through tshuva. So therefore, that's an if. There's no guarantee. You might or you might not, and then there's after you do tshuva. So therefore, and likewise, that's that pasuk. Now the second pasuk he could just quote in the second line here of this ice. If to his voice you will hearken, that goes on tshuva. That refers to tshuva. How so? Why doesn't that also refer to just fulfillment of mitzvahs? So he says, Rabbi Shua ben Levi, Novi, the famous encounter there, who he asked him, Rabbi Shua ben Levi asked Eliyahu, he met him. He asked him, when is Sir coming? He answered this pasuk, today. He said today. Then he met the next day, and he said he didn't come. So he explained which today did he mean? So we see that what? That goes on. If you do it, it's known. Mashiach comes through tshuva. So much so he adds in the brackets. He brings them from the Gemara and Rambam. Doesn't bring the Rambam, but that's Rambam brings it la halacha. So Mashiach said the Zohar will come and make the tzaddikim, bring the tzaddikim to tshuva. We might add that even Bekoilis Ishmo goes on tshuva as opposed to Mechakos Yatzelechem. Mechakos Yatzelechem is an instruction. If you keep my commandments, Bekoilis, God's calling you. So that's harder to resist. The Eibishter calls us. So this is the Eibishter's, what that conveys is how the Eibishter finds his way to stir a Yid. He calls him. The voice, it's an allusion to the Baskel, that the heavenly voices that issue forth from Har Sinai every day. Chassidus explains, the Neshama L'mayla hears it, and that's where Hirori Tshuva comes from. Because we're hearing God's wail, God's call. Shuva Bonim Shevivim, return away with children. So there's only so long we can resist this call. They're just calling every day and it gets louder. This, by the way, is also the union of the Keilu Shel, the Shefer Shel Mashiach. It's that call to come back. So that's Bekoile, that's the source of the tshuva. But the point is, there's still choice. The choice is, the sooner or later, but there's still choice. That's why both these psukim, there's the if. What's the if? One or two is going to happen. There will be tshuva if, but maybe not, because you did the Torah mitzvahs. That's the point. That's the im. If you do Torah mitzvahs, you don't need tshuva. If you do Torah mitzvahs like the tzaddik, it doesn't need to do tshuva. So therefore, it's an im. Tzarech though, but what if you didn't? So the im bekoiloi sishmo, that's also an im. It sounds like also it's whatever. It's just the answer, but the point here is that in general we get the answer why if is used, because it's not a certain path. It might be this way, it might be that way. You might come directly, take the high road, or take the tortuous road and do tshuva, but you'll get there. What about Al Pasuk? Al Pasuk says Asher. Why? Certainty. But here, what are we talking about? David says, I'm giving bracha and klala, shebracha, because we've covered everything here. Shebracha koi al kimater mitzvahs. Bracha means when Jesus is doing mitzvah, shedez and nasam shachasoyer. So that's a mitzvah tzaddikim. The pasuk is already saying both sides. And uklala krelin not shuva. And that's tshuva, which is a meridic inside because it means a curse. But they're insisting, God doesn't give curses. And he knows he's giving klala. That means tshuva. In brackets, shalochin shaykh loimer al zeh anoichi noise. Like it's a meridic diuk. I am giving, the Eibush is giving a yid klala. What he's saying is, I'm giving you the koyach to transform your klalas into brachas, to make your zdainis into zachias. Shezeh inyan vayafech Hashem lekecha lachas haklala levracha. The pasuk is in Parshas Kiseitzei. The Eibush will transform for you the curses into blessings. That's what he's giving the noiset over here. Again, that's even higher than Aveditz Tzadikim. So the answer to the question is, what's the certainty? Because this pasuk is not giving one side of the coin. It's giving it's the bracha and it's the klala, covered everything. You are going to arrive, Adarabah, through tshuva even higher. So the other pasukim are either mitzvahs or tshuva. This one is both klala or bracha, tzaddik and bal tshuva. V'lachein oimer asher tishmol lashon vadei. That's why our pasuk says that you will listen with certainty. It's one of the two. My mitzvah say tshuva. So therefore the certainty. Either we're going to do the outset or we're going to do tshuva. And furthermore, he's saying now even more. It's not both. It's not either, but it's both. He said before, even the tzaddik has to do tshuva, and certainly the rest of us, and it's all part of the plan. The asher, which he said at the very outset of the Maimer, which means fortune and tainug. What causes the asher l'mayla shezer inyan asher maloshen tainug? It's what? It's the avodah v'yid in Torah mitzvahs and in tshuva. The other Rabbi, as he said, tshuva is even higher and elicits even a deeper tainug. Just to add to that, the deeper tainug, there's many layers and nuance to it. The deeper tainug is that even after a person's transgressed, which externally would mean you're cut off and you're out, we were always connected. And that we were always connected is very deep. And that's what the teshuvah brings out. So it's a much stronger bond that nothing can get in the way, even the greatest transgression. It's a deep, what's the tainuk? That we are one, look how one we are, look how deep. Despite all of this, we're still together and deeper. What brought this out? The Aveda. So that's a much deeper tainuk. After I'm not going to say a good fight, but in the end it's a good fight, and then you make up. But truly, not patchwork, not band-aid, but truly, because you go deeper, and then it's an incomparable level of tainuk. As I've said many times, that's the Inyan of Tas Mishpacha, which is the separation of coming together. It's all, the Inyan is really the deepening of the tainuk. Yeah.
Without being a buzzkill.
Without being what?
A buzzkill.
A buzzkill.
How does this jive with the Indian of Karas? Where is the neshama cut off? Or there's never really a cut off?
No, it's not. That's bechitzoyin. It's external levels, but not the pnimis neshama. Yeah. And even where that's cut off, that can be reconnected. And when it's reconnected, it's even the stronger point, like the double knot where the thread's been broken. Because the of tzitzis, the double knot is alluding to this, that dafka through the being cut off and then tshuva, we're even stronger. Same union. Bal yidach and nidach. In the end, it's everyone. And nowadays, he says, in Tanya, in Gesat Tshuva, the tikkun of all these things is much easier than it used to be. Much easier. And one of the reasons for that is because sins are not what they used to be. Sins used to be like really deep investment, passionate. And, today, it's a distraction and stupidity. And not so deeply invested. By the same token, even our mitzvahs are, can be that way, but that's the upshot. The damage isn't that deep. So it's very fixable. Now he's going to answer another shaila. Why noisen? Anoichi noisen, as opposed to, did he give an alternative? Mevorech, yeah. You're giving a bracha, so you bless a blessing. You don't give a blessing. Yeah. So let's see the answer to this. Although we don't get the full answer for some reason, it's the second mime in a row that they're missing the end.
It's not finished, the mimer?
The people listening didn't.
You didn't get the whole.
Yeah. Early in those years, it was fairly chasser asim at the end. We had the previous mime also was chasser asim. In those years, it's fairly common.
We're like ha'tchk, they're sweating, we're sitting here 70 years later. Ha'tchk, they didn't finish.
This was one person that was writing this.
Right.
What happens? I'm just guessing why chasser asim, because you're so inspired by the mimer that was just said. It's another thing. It's hard to He's thinking over, not because he just tuned out. It's adrabah. So when it's taped, it's taped. The lady just didn't happen. There's a whole team of guys, and they.
Who was this?
It's basically Rabbi, basically. Not only, but basically. But what's happening lately is that they're discovering, and people are giving Rishimis that they made. How did they make it? It was by Chazorah, they wrote. Rabbi Yos Chazorah, they were sitting and writing it. In fact, there are quite a few Maimorim that we have from Zalman's father. And some of them, like recently, the last few years, that he wrote. I don't know by Chazorah, could be he just wrote afterwards himself, just sat down and wrote the Maimorim, the Sichos. Those are the few guys. Recently, Beryl Lipsker, who was on COL, a Maimer. Yeah, the one that we learned here that wasn't not in this book, from Tafshin Chav Gimel. We're missing a Maimer because he submitted it, he gave it to Lahak after this was published. Okay, so we'll stop here. We'll finish and rush the last few words. We'll finish tomorrow, and the Chazorah, the overview, and then we'll start the next Maimer. The David Hashem Moidi v'Yishi. Whoa.